Hello everyone, this is AI here, and in today's tutorial I'll teach you how to create this rhombus pattern in Inkscape. This pattern is made of a rhombus that is duplicated and rotated. In order to create this pattern, we're first going to create a tile which repeats itself throughout the pattern. The key to identifying a tile in a pattern is that it must start at the top, where it ends at the bottom, and it must start on the left, where it ends on the right. So this is what we're going to see to create in order to do a pattern fill. Alright, so first we go to File, New, and we create a new composition. We're going to set its orientation to landscape. So we go to File, Document Properties, and we set the orientation to landscape. And then we're going to add some center guides. So we go to Extensions, Document, Guides Creator. We set the value for columns and rows to 2. And we click on Apply. So now we have created the guides and we can start drawing the pattern. So in order to create the rhombuses, we're going to take the Star Polygon tool. We set it to Polygon and we set the number of corners to 3. And then while holding Ctrl and Shift, we go ahead and we create a triangle. We go to the Fill and Stroke panel and we set the fill to red. So this gives us an equilateral triangle. And then to turn it into a rhombus, we press on Ctrl D to duplicate it. And then we flip the duplicated rhombus vertically. And we move it downwards until it snaps to the first triangle. And then we select both triangles. We go to Path, Union, and this merges them together and turn them into a rhombus. So we center it vertically and we position it not very far from the center of the composition. We click on it and we position the rotation center in the middle of the composition. And then we're going to duplicate and rotate it. So we go to the Transform panel. If you don't have it, you can find it here. We go to Rotate. We press on Ctrl D to duplicate the rhombus. We set the angle to 60 degrees and we click on Apply. So this gives us a second rhombus. And then we're going to repeat the process. We press on Ctrl D and we click on Apply. And we repeat it until we have 6 rhombuses. And then we select all the rhombuses and we press on Ctrl G to group them together. And then we press on Ctrl D to duplicate the group. And then we position it in such a way that the rhombus here overlaps. And then we press on Ctrl D again. And we position it on the other side so that the rhombus here overlaps. So now we have all the elements that we need to create the tile. The tile is going to be located from the bottom of this rhombus here to the bottom of this rhombus here. And so we're going to delineate it with the rectangle tool. So we take the rectangle tool and we draw a rectangle. And then we take the selector tool. We go to the Fill and Stroke panel. And then we're going to lower the opacity of the rectangle so that we can see through it. And then we're going to position it so that it goes from the bottom of this rhombus here to the bottom of this rhombus here. So it must be positioned correctly. And then we're going to set its fill to none. And then we're going to select both the rhombuses and the rectangle. And we go to Object, Clip, Set Clip. So this clips the rhombuses to the area of the rectangle. So this is going to be our tile that we need in order to do a pattern fill. So in order to use it to do a pattern fill, we go to Object, Pattern, Object Subpattern. So now the tile is copied to the clipboard and we can use it to do a pattern fill. So we are going to move it outside of the composition. We take the rectangle tool and we draw a rectangle all over the composition. And here in the fill and stroke panel, we select fill. And here we select pattern to set the pattern as a pattern fill. And then to make it smaller, we take the node tool. We select the bottom right node. And then we scale it down while holding Ctrl to make the pattern smaller. And then if you want, we can export the tile to use it to do a pattern fill in another graphic program. So to do that, we go to File, Export, while having the tile selected. Here we select Selection, File type to PNG, and then we can export it. Alright, so that was it for this tutorial. You learned how to create a Rhombus pattern in Inkscape. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something from it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.